Well, Jack, has it been difficult looking ahead to this one because of all of the uncertainty around COVID? I don't suppose you've really been able to sit back and really look forward to it, maybe until the past couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, didn't really know if we were going to be allowed to have fans or not in the stadium. So everyone's absolutely buzzing that there's been no regulations around that, and it's looking like a healthy crowd. So really excited for it.
Yeah, it's a huge factor, isn't it? If the game had ended up being behind closed doors, it would have been completely different. FA Cup's so much about the fans, and when you got 52,000 there, well, it goes without saying it's going to be quite some afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an incredible stadium, but it's going to be so much better to experience that stadium with the atmosphere instead of behind closed doors.
I was having a little look back through your CV with previous relevant experience. Did you play an FA Cup tie-up in Scotland at Celtic one year? Would that be the closest you've come to this sort of game?
Yeah, absolutely. That was Scottish Cup quarter final up there, and that was an incredible experience as well. So other than that, I've not really had too many big cup ties. So I'm really looking forward to this weekend.
Is there anything you particularly take out of that day against Celtic? Any lessons learned? Any sense of how it was different from a regular game?
No, I think you've just got to enjoy the experience, really. And that's what I did on that day. I mean, we lost 3-0, but it was still an awesome place to now say that I've played football and can tick another one off the list this weekend, hopefully.
Well, you certainly enjoyed the experience at Charlton the other day. I know in the end the result didn't go your way, but the performance, the feel around the side, the way in which you played, you were all really pleased with.
Yeah, pleased with everything bar the result, really. I think we deserved to take something from the game. I thought we were really, really good value and got punished on two occasions. And we were, sitting in the change rooms after the game, sort of thinking, how have we not taken anything from that? But saying that, that's happened a couple of times this season. Feeling like we are close to getting what we deserve, really, with those performances.
Yeah, because clearly it is different when you go away from home and there's a packed crowd. I guess you could look at the Portsmouth game from Fratton Park back in September, another match that perhaps will have some similarities with Saturday, where you applied yourself really well.
Yeah, I think as a team we're thriving off being in those kind of environments. I think the first sellout we had at the Abbey, we were a little bit deer in the headlights for a couple of minutes, but we've now had those experiences with big crowds, whether they're for us or against us. So it's something we've got to draw on. Obviously, it's going to be nothing compared to the 52,000 up there, but it is experience that you can draw on, and we've just got to go up there and hope that and do our best.
Does the preparation, being in the right mindset for dealing with a big crowd, does it start from the moment you walk out of the dressing room and standing in the tunnel? I would imagine at St James's Park you'll get a sense of that atmosphere straight away.
Yeah, I don't really think mentally you have to prepare too much. It's more of an excitement thing rather than dreading it. So the game plan's not going to change really, depending on whether there's one person in the crowd or 52,000 in the crowd. So that's something that we have to be more focused on, really.
On a personal level, for you, are you a central defender now on the basis of how it's gone over the past month or so? You must be delighted, really, because it's a tough thing you've been asked to do, and it's worked out really well.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a central defender. I'd say I'm still a left back that can play centre back. But I was happy with the way I started the season at left back, and just had to sort of continue that momentum. And I was asked to play in different positions, and now that I've had a good few months at centre half, I'm more comfortable there, and me and Jim's have been doing quite well the last few games, so starting to build that relationship there. And I'll play anywhere as long as I'm on the pitch, really. So it doesn't really matter where I'm asked. I'm happy to be involved.
Yeah, and presumably it gets easier game by game in that you almost have a double role in that you're playing at centre back, but you've also got to bring your experience to bear. For Jubril, he hasn't played that many games at League One level or professionally, so you've got that balance to strike as well.
Yeah, but I think the relationship that me and Jibs have, we get on well off the pitch, so that helps us on the pitch. He's more of a centre half than I am, but obviously I've had more games than he has, so we're sort of working together through that sense. And I think especially the past few games, he's been excellent. He's trying to keep his shirt, and we've been working well together.
Yeah, and a great example of how, as a player, if you can be really open-minded, it must help in that when the manager comes along and says, I'm going to need you to play in central defence, actually, if you embrace the challenge, it takes you a fair way along the journey and hopefully to success.
Yeah, well, I did grow up playing centre half in Australia. I was playing centre half up until I was 21 before I moved. Or even when I moved to Scotland, I spent a little bit of time playing centre half there as well. Obviously, it was completely different playing centre back in Australia to it was in the UK. So I had that to rely on as well. But last season I was asked to play a number of positions anyway, and I've always seen myself as a versatile player. So when I'm asked to play somewhere, it's more exciting than daunting. Really, it's an opportunity to go out and show something else that I have in my game as well.
We were just speaking to Joe about his previous Newcastle experiences, and he'd been to see a game when he was about 80, he reckoned. Have you been to St James's Park before?
No, I've not been to any Premier League grounds really, other than West Ham's to watch a game. So this is going to be an entirely new experience for me.
And any particular memories of Newcastle back in the day for Joe? He was talking about Alan Shearer being a big role model for him.
My memory is going to be Mark Viduka. Obviously, the Australian say he was always on the TV and the sports news when I was, eating my breakfast before school or whatever growing up. So, I'd say when Mark Viduka was playing, there was a real spotlight on Newcastle from the Australian media.
Yeah, and he had a bit of a spell there. Did it tempt you to want to play up front with Mark going well for Newcastle?
I was more of a Harry Kewell fan, so I was playing left wing at that stage. I was more of a winger than a striker.
Cool, that's great from me.
Hi, Jack. Just a quick one from me. What's the between the two positions, left back and centre back? What's the biggest difference or challenge for you?
I think with left back, obviously encouraged a lot more to get forward and really help the attacking side of things. Whereas at centre half, I've got to be a lot more disciplined. Really got to stay at home, and I think I've got to be more vocal as well at centre half. There's a lot more going around. I've got Jibs to talk to. I've got Dunks beside me to talk to. I've got the centre mids to talk to. So I'd say left back could be a bit more physically demanding, whereas centre half maybe is a bit more mentally draining because you've always got to be switched on in that sense.
And does that change your mental preparation, or is it just you have to flick a switch and just get on with it?
I do a lot of like visualization stuff and that kind of thing. So obviously the different scenarios that I'm putting myself in my head will change. So in terms of mental preparation, there is a slight difference in the specifics, but other than that, not really.
That's great. Thanks, Jack.
Cheers.
Hi, Jack. Just to ask one more question about the fact that you're playing at centre-back at the moment. Have you played at centre-back at all in the past before this run where you've been asked to play in it?
Yeah, so I basically from the age of 15 to 21, when I was playing, I was playing at centre half. But that was at youth level. So it was completely different to league football here. I spent 3.5 years then at left back without any games at centre half to then come back in. So I was a little bit nervous about it, but as soon as I got the first game going, I was fine.
Sure. And with the atmosphere on Saturday as well, potentially a sellout, as a player, how much do you relish an occasion like that, playing in such an atmosphere?
Oh, you absolutely love it. There's nothing better than a full house when you're playing football. You get goosebumps when the crowd's making that much noise, and you sort of have to take a second to try and soak it in, but then you've got to block it out and try and really focus on the game.
And what do you make of United's backing as well? They're taking hopefully taking up to 5,000 fans there on Saturday.
It's absolutely incredible. I'm really excited to see them all up in the clouds in the away end at St James's. It's fantastic support, and we really appreciate it. And hopefully we can give them a really enjoyable day out.
Just to ask a bit about the game itself on Saturday as well. What are you expecting from Newcastle on Saturday?
Well, I thought they might have had Mbappe through the door, but that doesn't seem to have happened just yet. So we'll see. Obviously we're expecting a high quality opponent. Not sure how strong they'll go, but it doesn't matter because we're not going to change anything in that sense. So we're obviously expecting a really tough game, and hopefully a really enjoyable one for everyone involved.
And how do you think you go about securing a result at an upset?
I don't know, hopefully Big Joe channels us in Alan Shearer and starts banging hat-tricks up there. So hopefully the big man can pull through for us.
Let's hope so, and let's hope they don't sign Mbappe before the game. Cheers, Jack.